Next, please. So what are you asking for? Can everybody say ask? What are you asking for? What are you asking the Minister of Health for? It should be specific, measurable, and time-bound. So don't go writing in the policy brief, you want this. No, what do you want? Young people across all the 20 districts to be tested monthly, annually. It's clear. Be clear about what you're asking for. Second, what are the supporting actions? What are steps that that policymaker needs to take to ensure it's implemented? So we've said we want testing centers across the 20 districts. This can be supported by the youth-led organizations or the grassroots organizations. And who are the stakeholders that that policymaker can work with? Ask. Your ask must be specific, not beating about the bush. Next slide. The impacts. If all that is done, what will be the impact? Can we take all the impacts together? What's the first impact you have to talk about? Health outcomes. The next is what? Social benefit. The next is what? And then the next is how it aligns with the government. So for example, I'm writing and I'm saying that in alignment with the government of Ghana's Agenda 2030. That person says, oh yes, right, is praising the administration. So you are not writing in your own context alone. You are bringing the agenda of the administration about the impact. So what are the health outcomes? What are the benefits? Reduce stigma, increase youth participation. What is the economic rationale? If we do spend $1, it will save 40 young persons. If we put in $2, it will save 100 young persons, and we would not have our young people die. Next slide. So, you've learned about the 3 tools. The first one is about the use of advocacy. The second is about the amplification tool. And the third is about the policy influence brief. We would like that you test your skills. It's not just for you to learn this. As you go in the various sessions, begin to itemize these things. Do you want to use the amplification tool? That means that in the amplification tool, you keep tagging your government when you make those statements. Is it that you want to, before you leave the conference, do a policy brief? Going around the various sessions, you're picking what are the critical issues affecting the continent. Now we know there's disruption, but the disruption has come. What next? So this is a safe space for you to practice before you do it for the real life. Next slide. So I'm going to create a scenario. The scenario is legal barrier to testing. That's what we've identified. Next slide. Did you jump? Go back, please. Okay, so legal barrier to testing. Can we have somebody come boldly and use one of the tools? Do you want to use the advocacy tool? Do you want to use the amplification tool or the policy brief? Who is bold? Legal barrier to testing. That's the problem. Which one do you want to use? Who is bold? Our youth, who is bold? Okay, he's smiling at me already. Can we have you come? Oh, who raised up a hand? I didn't see the hand at the back. Oh, can you come? The two of you come, please. Please, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Okay, so legal barrier to testing. So which one of the tools do you want to use?
To use.
Oh, go ahead.
Amplification.
Want to use the amplification?
Yes.
So do you want me to go back?
Yeah.
You want me to help you go back? Sure. All right. Okay, there you are. So you want to use the amplification. Go ahead. So you are creating a tweet now or an X. Go ahead.
So actually,
You're looking at everybody.
to make sure that the problem then the three approaches.
They can't hear you, my dear. We're here for you young people. So go ahead.
Yeah, so the problem is that most recently graduated students in Ghana hardly find a job.
Okay, so that's the problem.
Yes, so that's the
No job for graduating students. Remember, we said it should be catchy.
Yes.
No long words. No jobs for graduating students. Yeah. What's the impact?
So as a result, most of them engage in
No
social
long
vices.
words. No jobs for graduating students. What's the implication?
Leading them to engage in social vices.
No jobs for young graduating students in Ghana. Harsh vices, negative vices. What's the solution? Create jobs and go ahead.
Involving them with the policymakers to create opportunities.
Remember, you are trying to create a tweet that would attract him. So create that tweet.
So hashtag involve youth in job creation.
Involve youth in job creation. Or let's refine it. Create jobs for newly graduated students in Ghana. Zero vices. Can we clap for him? Good. Let's take him. Legal barrier. He has used the amplification tool. So which one do you want to use? So which one do you want to use?
Is the same amplification tool.
Okay, use the application. Let's hear it. But now I want you to address the problem. It's legal barrier to testing. That's what I want you to address. Legal barrier. The problem is legal barrier to testing. Go ahead. You're talking to them.
I need to create a tweet, right?
Yes. Legal barrier to testing.
So the problem is legal barrier, and now the human impact is hindering the young people cannot access some services because they are limited at age. Like they need to, their guardians need to consent for them.
Limitation to services.
Yes.
Yes. Limitation to services. What's the impact?
The impact is they continue, like the help is delayed.
Look at the example. You are not telling a story. You are creating a short message.
Okay. So,
limitation to services.
Limitation to access to services for the young people delays them to get delays them to get help that they need, and the government needs to ensure that young people can consent. Some of the young people can consent for themselves.
See, somebody wants to help her. Who wants to help her? Please come. Short, very short, very, very short. You tried, but you see, as a policymaker, long sentences, they don't read. Short things that hits them hard is what they read. And these can be amplified. Go ahead. Thank you.
HIV says it's not a matter of right.
Go ahead.
So hashtags, many are not willing to do that test, which leads to increase in HIV number. So solution, HIV testing should be mandatory like vaccines.
Should be mandatory. No, that won't be a good tweet.
That's then I would say policy, because policy protects.
Say that again.
Policy. We have policies that protect people from not doing the test.
Not doing their test.
Yeah. That right. You say it's my human right. I'm forced to do my test.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, at least for coming out boldly. We will just go finally to the last end. I can see, sorry, Sorry. Good. So we are using this opportunity to launch the tree tool. Please scan this. It's called the advocacy in a box. So, and it gives you the detail to detail steps. Can we scan this? It takes you directly to the tool kits. Have we all scanned? So it gives you step by step of what to do in the amplification tool, in the advocacy tool, and even with what the policy brief should look like. Have we all scanned it? Can I move on? Because we are being chased by the... Have we scanned it? So, George, I'm going to hand over back to you to complete
Okay, thank you very much. Let's thank together for Dr. Shumefo, please. Thank you very much. There's one thing I remember during one of our advocacy visits to one of the ministers in Nigeria, then is okay, commissioners from our state. And then he was saying that young people, they like to make a lot of noise, right? Now, from there, I took that noise and I wanted to like expand on it. Why do policymakers say young people make so much noise? It's because we do not prefer solutions. We amplify the problem the more. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you pick a problem, before you go online and tweet or do anything, try to think of a possible solution. And with that, you can do a tweet, do a post, do a video that can touch them and of course inform them on the best practices or the best thing to do moving forward. Because trust me, everybody knows the problem. The thing that people don't know is what? The solution. And as young people, the onus lies on us to provide solutions to our problems. And that is why this advocacy, I'll call it the advocacy playbook, right? It's a playbook. It helps us to create better strategies for advocacies, helps us implement change, and helps us to get more and more increased impact. And thank you very much. So if you have used this, you should be on a particular document, policy, there are 3 steps advocacy tool already, or playbook, right? So if you have done that, can you shout yay? If you can see the advocacy playbook, say yay. Thank you. So please, let's go back to that. Let's leave that on the board for a bit. Some people are still scanning. So we want to see your tweet. We want to see your post. We want to hear your journey. We want to see how far that advocacy tool has helped you. So when you are making your waves, when you are tweeting, you are posting, don't forget to use the hashtag 3advocacy2. And don't forget to tag at UNFPA WCARO. We call it WCARO, right? At UNFPA WCARO. So tag at UNFPA WCARO. Let us see what you are doing with the advocacy tool. And of course, when we can support, we can also pitch in and support your work. Thank you very much to my wonderful panelists, Franca, Dr. Shumefo, and of course, Winnie. Thank you for your wonderful insights and that you have shared. And we're looking forward to engaging with everybody in the hall so soon. Thank you very much, please. We've come to the end of this session. Don't forget to use the hashtag and don't forget to tag at UNFPA Nigeria. Please, okay, group pictures. Are you the one that's going to help? Yeah.
Should I take the picture? How many are in agreement? All right, you can go and I'll do it for you. Okay, smile for the camera. Beautiful. Let's give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Generation Resilience. Generation Resilience. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that. We're going to run through the program because we're a bit behind. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to take much of your time. Allow me to call to the stage Francis Oko Ama from Afrian, Ghana. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You can do better than that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, Ghana. It looks like some people are hungry, and we can understand that. So we are leading a very short session, a session which is not supposed to be short, but we know we are working with limited time, so I'll just cut the chase and go straight. My name is Francis Oko Ama. I work with an African member organization called Youth Community, and we are leading the Emerging Researchers Workshop. How many of you here are youth advocates from the community? Can you raise your hands? Oh, it looks like a few people. Can you raise your hands if you're a youth advocate from the community level? Okay, what if you are a student? Can you raise your hand? Okay, we also have students among us. So a lot of times we have some challenges. We do so much work at the community level. We do not document, you don't publish it. And so today, and through this workshop, we'll go through some strategies or some ways you can document your work and publish it. Okay, so can we get my presentation up? So while we do that, okay. Okay, so this is my thesis from school. And you don't necessarily have to be an undergraduate, a postgraduate or not. Just as a youth advocate at the community level, you can also document. And I know a lot of you here write activity reports. These reports have information of the work that you do at the community level. It is very important that once you document these things, you convert them to academic papers or research articles and publish them so that the world can learn from you and your work at the community level. So the thesis looks at deconstructing social behavior communication, change communication in transforming youth SRHR choices in Ghana. And that is what we are using as a case study for converting your research into an article. Next slide. Next slide, please. The pointer isn't working. Okay. So what is the context and the problem? Now, we learned that messaging is changing. There's an evolution of messaging in all. I know today, if I am planning a campaign for young people and I put it on radio, I may not get Gen Zs to listen. But if I put it through a TikTok challenge, I will get them. So you know that messaging is changing. And so Ghana has shifted from shame-based or virgin pride campaigns in the 1990s to modern youth-centric. The messages have to be centered on the young people. Approaches like Know Yawa. How many of you remember Know Yawa? If I say Know Yawa, you say what? We there for you. I remember very well. Now, Know Yawa, campaigns like Know Yawa engage and encourage open dialogue, non-judgmental spaces where young people could air their grievances, share what they want to learn, and their voices for free and freely. Now, there's also the problem of the knowledge and action gap. Through the research, we found out that despite 99.7% awareness of HIV, only 12% of sexually active youth report consistent condom use. Let me break it down. As much as people were aware of HIV, about 99.7%, almost 100%, only 12% of those who are aware of the 99% were the ones who were using condoms consistently. Now, some people, what it means is that when they meet a new boy, a new girl, any gender non-conforming person or whatever, they start using condom at the beginning. We are getting to know each other. But after 3 months, oh, I know you, you know me. Then they stop using the condom. So it's not consistent. But in order to prevent HIV, it is important that you be consistent with condom use. You don't use it today and then you stop using it tomorrow. Next slide, please. So through the research, we use the mixed methods approach. We use quantitative phase where we surveyed 42 adolescents and young people across Ghana to assess awareness levels, message relevance, and behavioral outcomes. For the qualitative phase, we had an in-depth key informant interviews with 4 experts from Ghana AIDS Commission, Maristopes, and youth-led NGOs. For integration, we looked at explanatory sequential design using joint display analysis to synthesize statistical trends with the expert narratives. Now, what were our findings? Next. Here are the findings. This is what we came across. Let's look at perception versus reality. For message relevance, we scored 3.98% over 5. It shows that the messages that were sent to young people out of 5, it was almost about 4, which is a good sign. That it shows that the information that young people were receiving, they deemed it relevant enough to their needs, to them and their culture. TV and web show effectiveness. We also identified that implementers use TV and web shows to channel messages, campaign. I know Atua, some of us know YOLO, and other TV campaigns. Even sometimes they share clips on TikTok and other places. The effectiveness of such campaigns was 3.88 over 5, almost 4. So at least there's a high level of effectiveness. For the comfort discussing SRHR, including HIV, it's reduced to about, from the other trends, it says 3.74 over 5. So even though we see that message relevance is 3.98, the TV and web shows are effective at 3.88. Still, people's comfort discussing such issues is a bit less. So despite the effort, we still see some difference in people's comfort in talking about these issues. Now, the interesting finding among all is the fear of judgment. That we see that out of 5, it's scored 2.36. So despite all of these campaigns, we see that some young people still feel that they fear judgment when they have to talk about this issue or if they have to come out to access services. So it is important to note that while youth find campaigns relevant and educational, because we can see the high scores, a moderate fear of judgment still persists, creating a barrier to accessing services despite high knowledge. Next slide, please. Now, it is important that we look at why change is stalled. We want to create change, but it is important to understand why it's not happening as fast as we would want it. 1, let's look at systemic constraints. Implementers face restrictive short-term funding cycles, sometimes between 1 to 3 years. And if you are a youth-led organization, sometimes your project lasts for as short as 6 months or even 1 year. So these do not allow for long-term work, which is required to change complex human behaviors. There is also the problem about donor fatigue, which often interrupts successful programs. Then we have the normative and cultural barriers. It is important to note that deep-seated cultural norms and stigma act as a firewall against SBCC messages. With many interventions, youth fear being judged by healthcare providers and community elders, leading to secrecy and risk. Next slide, please. So here are some of the pathways to transformation. If we want to really transform change, we need to deploy youth champions. And I think to a large extent, we've been doing that. So we need to look at what works with youth champions and continue to amplify that, and what does not work, so we change that. Look, having an intergenerational dialogue is very, very important. The generation of young people I knew 10 years ago have completely changed now. And so it is important that my generation have a dialogue with that generation, and then we both have dialogues with the older generation so that we can understand each other and meet our needs. It is also possible to have flexible funding models. Donors must shift to long-term investment models that measure behavioral outcomes rather than just reach. And then we need to be proactive through, we need to have proactive digital governance. It is very important to populate digital spaces with verified AI-driven SRHR content to counter misinformation and provide private access and health information. Next slide, please. Now, as you are a student, an advocate, a researcher, these are some strategies that you can use. You can, if you need to structure your article, you need to focus people from writing about general awareness to focusing on the knowledge and action gap. This is a unique contribution. It means you are contributing something unique from your own experience, from your communities, or your research. You can also, at the methodology side, you can highlight the explanatory sequential design. Mixed methods are highly valued in public health literature, rather than just one single method. Also for discussion, you need to emphasize the implementer versus youth disconnect found in the joint display analysis. And for your conclusions, you need to frame the need for normative shifts rather than just providing more information. And looking at journals that you need to target, there are primary targets, we have the audience as well, and then you need a key hook. It's just like if you are writing an interesting article or a news story, you need an interesting hook to grab your audience to stay through with you in your research. So it is very important to develop a very good hook to hook people to your research, to drive them in to understand what you are trying to share. Next slide. Thank you very much. So we'll pick one other presentation from Dr. Emilia Aglevo, who is a senior researcher at the College of Physicians and Surgeons. She will take us through various ways we can publish our research articles or our reports from the community level for more recognition as part of our career growth and our research work. Thank you so much. Please, a round of applause for Dr. Aglevo.
Thank you very much, Oko. So I would attempt to chop up Oko's presentation a bit and sort of align it to what we should expect if we want to publish it in an academic journal. Okay, so if you want to write an academic paper, first off, you have to find a topic. Next, please. You have to find a topic, you have to find something that is relevant, and you must have interest in that topic. So first, you will scout the literature and understand what is in the literature. So if you are trying to write a paper and you don't do this important first step of identifying what is missing in the literature, you might finish writing the paper and you would realize that someone has already published it, which makes your paper very redundant. So the first thing you need to do once you identify the research area, the research interest, is to do a wide literature scoping search. And now there are a lot of AI tools to aid that. Don't use ChatGPT. Use Elicit AI, use Research Rabbit, which when you put in one research paper would bring out all connecting papers. If you use Elicit AI, you ask the AI a question in relation to your research. It will throw up verified DOI peer-reviewed papers. If you use ChatGPT, it might throw out DOI's references, but most of them might not exist. So use Google Scholar and other AI tools that are available. And then, like Oko said, you have to find the gap. So the knowledge action gap. Once you find the gap, then you have to articulate your research question. Next. And in articulating your research question, when you are writing an academic paper, just focus on one key message. So in Oko's presentation, he indicates that there's a high awareness of HIV/AIDS, the phenomenon, but then only 12% of sexually active youth reports consistent condom use. So there's high awareness, there are a lot of SBCC campaigns, but this is not translating to sustained knowledge. So what needs to change? What is missing? So once you identify the knowledge gap, then you articulate your research question. Next slide, please. So yes, clear problem. HIV rates are high. Despite several SBCC campaigns, change is not happening. So what? And then you can answer the question, why are SBCC messages not working? You can look at the message design, you can look at the message channels, and he indicated that he spoke to adolescents and policymakers and all of that. So based on his research thesis, which I have read, it's possible for him to structure the research questions into two main questions, looking at why the messages are not working and also how the SBCC campaigns are being implemented, where you can do an evaluation of why the implementation is not being delivered as planned. So once you identify one critical research question, then you go to identify which journal to publish in. There are so many journals. Oko has already listed some that are relevant for public health. So for you to identify the journals, based on your literature sheet, you would recognize papers that are relevant to your work. And as you are doing the literature search, note down the journals that are very close to your research interest. And once you identify those three main journals, familiarize yourself with the scope of the journal, select one journal, find out what their referencing style is, what their writing style is, and adapt your draft to the referencing style. You don't want to start writing, you use Vancouver referencing, only to find out at the end that they use Harvard referencing. It's a waste of your time. You can avoid all of that if you identify a journal. Okay, so like I said, Oko has already mentioned it. He has the primary target, the audience, and the key hook. So next. So the key hook is something that could go into your abstract, which I would be coming to. So yes, you identify the problem, you focus on answering that one research question that's important, and then you design your study. You make sure that the methods you are using are rigorous, it is reliable, it is measuring what it's supposed to measure, it is valid. If the research methods are replicated, it's going to present the same result, especially for quantitative studies. These are very, very important. Reliability, validity. When it comes to qualitative research, we are looking at transferability. For quantitative studies, we are looking at generalizability. So once you design your method, now you start to write the paper. You keep the title concise, reflecting the main focus of your study. Then you write the abstract. Very concise, very succinct. Most journals would ask for between 150 to 300 words. like was indicated, you need the key hook. As Dr. Shumai was doing her presentation, I found the advocacy toolkit to be very relevant for writing academic papers as well. You need to find the problem and then the human-centered impact and then the solution. All of these have to be captured in your abstract. Very concise, very succinct, straight to the point. And then you also need relevant keywords in your abstracts. In that first page, you are also asked to put in keywords. These keywords would enable other people to find your work, and this is very, very important. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'll skip through this very, very quickly. This section goes to the step-by-step process for all the various segments of the study. So first, you have the introduction, which you have to set the background for the study. You clearly state the research problem and objective, or objectives if there are two, but as much as possible, keep it to one objective, one main research question. And then you go to your theoretical framework or conceptual framework, which is a bit technical. But basically, when you're trying to put out research, you are not just writing in a vacuum. Other people have already gone ahead to write what you intend to put across. So sometimes there are already frameworks that would guide your study. Sometimes there might be a theory that would guide your study. Sometimes there might be different frameworks that you would put together as a conceptual framework to guide your study. There are so many things that can happen with that. You might extend a theory, you might do a conceptual framework, and in the introduction and background, just before you move to your methods, you have to discuss the significance of your research. So in Oko's work, in his thesis, he has a lot of theories that he draws on. I did not see his conceptual framework. So I think that's something we have to work on. Next slide. Okay, so you need your methods, qualitative, quantitative, different methods, surveys, in-depth interviews, focus group discussions. Then it comes to the data analysis, which we missed in Oko's presentation. That's very, very important. You have to highlight it when you are writing your paper. You also have to indicate how you sampled the people who you interview in your research or who are part of your research. Next slide. Okay, so I point out that description of tools is and data analysis is missing in Oko's presentation. Next slide. But then, like he said, it's a very good approach to use mixed methods because when it comes to triangulation, it makes up for what quantitative or qualitative methods would not cover. So I think I've already mentioned this already. So I'll move to the next slide. Okay, so in qualitative research, especially in public health, there are certain checklists that you have to pass to make sure that the research is rigorous and trustworthy. And there are various tools that exist, but these are some of the things that you should be thinking about: the clarity of the research question, appropriateness of the design, sampling, reflexivity. As a researcher, how your own social characteristics influence the research, clear description of data analysis, which I have already mentioned. Next slide, please. So this is one of the tools, the correct tool. It's a 32 checklist. You can check it out. I'm not going to read through. And the next slide is also another tool. Next slide. Yes, this is also another checklist that you can go through to make sure that your qualitative data is rigorous. Next slide. So after you have written the introduction, the methods, then next slide, please. You go into your results and discussion. For some papers, you do the results separately, and then you do the discussion separately. For other papers, especially in sociology and other human in sociology and other arts-based studies, sometimes you would put the discussion and the results in one section. And then after that, then you put forth your conclusion, which is very important in summarizing the research and then the significance of your study. Next slide. And I think that basically captures the essence. So here I point out some slides from Oko's presentation that can go into the findings. Next slide. Yes, findings. Next slide. Still findings. Recommendations, actually. Next slide. And then the conclusion. You summarize the main, you reflect on the significance, and then contributions to the field, and also concluding remarks. This has been very fast. I hope you were able to follow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don't go yet, please. We have room for only 2 questions. As this is a workshop, it's very, very important to at least take some questions. Maybe you have a research that you've done, you have a very good report of some work you've done at the community level, or you need help to publish a paper. If you have any question whatsoever, please raise your hand. We only have room for 2. So I see 2 ladies. I don't see a man. Wow, I actually see 3 ladies. So I pick 1 and 2, and then I'll consider you as well. So 1, 2, and then a young lady at the back. I'll come with the mic. Hello? Hello? Okay, it's working.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for the great presentation. I think this is very, very important, and we'll be asking for a link to the presentation so that we can also study and make use of it in our publications. Thank you once again.
Thank you. More of a contribution than a question. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everyone. Bungin over here from FAQ Health. I wanted to find out in one of your slide presentations, your slide, yes, you suggested in terms of recommendations, AI as one of the tools that we could use online digitally. Why specifically AI? And do you not think that it replaces humans and the peer-to-peer engagement part of things?
Okay. Good question, and I'm glad I'm the one who brought the mic, so you can ask me directly. So the recommendation is that we populate factual-based information on AI, because when we were doing the research, we found out that young people will go to ChatGPT, instead of going to your mother, your peer, and all of that, they'll go to ChatGPT and say, I saw something in my pants, what is it? And so if there is accurate information there, then that young person would get that accurate information, because humans also populate the internet and AI platform with all sorts of information. We are just not sure which of them is factual. So it is better for those of us who have the factual information to rather feed AI and online sources with those information, so that the young people who do not trust the peer-to-peer human interaction phase and ask the questions, who then turn to AI, will then have access to that positive information. I hope I clarified that. Thank you so much. So I consider this one young lady. Yes, quick.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. So please, I wanted to find out about the ethics around community level data, because sometimes from the onset, you are not going out with the intention that you are going to use this for research or a publication. So subsequently, you go back to them and ask for consent or to their journal. How do you do that?
Very good. She's asking about ethics at the community level data collection or activity. Maybe at the time of doing your activity, you didn't intend for it to be a research, but by the end of the project and the findings that you have, you know that this is valuable for research to publish so that it can influence decisions. So do you then go back to the community to seek for consent and address the ethical issues before you cross the path to the journal for publishing?
Thank you very much, Oko. I missed one last slide on ethics. So I have good news and bad news. If you did not ask for their consent in the beginning, you can't use the data and publish it in a peer-reviewed academic journal. You might do your policy briefs, but peer-reviewed academic journals insist, and you must inform your
respondents or your participants. So what I would advise that you do going forward is that if you have to do any data collection at all, if you have to do any engagement at all, tell the participants that there's a possibility that you might use this for research. Give them consent forms, let them sign. Make sure that as you're going along, you document what you are doing rigorously so that if you want to publish, you can go back to those field notes to aid you to publish. There's so much rich knowledge in the NGO space, in the CSO space. And like Oko said, all of these sometimes end in policy briefs. And it's really important for us to document what we are doing so that others can come and then learn from it.
A round of applause for Dr. Aglevo and myself. I know there are a lot more questions, but you can see us during breaks and during the session, and then we can answer your questions individually. Thank you so much. We hope this has been an insightful workshop. In fact, if you give us additional hour, we will take it, but there is no time. So thank you so much. A round of applause to yourselves as well. See you. Dog.
Another big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, are you learning? Are you sure? All right, so allow me to run with the program. At this moment, allow me to invite for our session 2, Lilebo Faith from the United Movement, convened by Y Plus Global and Afrian ICASA. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You can do better than that. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone feeling this morning? I've just been asked to make my presentation to be less than 1 second, and I'm thinking of asking the DJ to put music for us so that we can dance, and we can give the time to the next person. How about that? You wanna dance? You want to dance? Can we have a song? There you go. I want to see some movement in the room. You asked to dance, but now you're seated. Can we stand and shake up a bit? Shake up, please. We've been sitting for a long time. Can everyone be up? All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. We can have our seats. I hope you feel a bit lighter. Good morning again. My name is Lebo Faith Tipe, but I go by the name Faith mainly. I work with the Global Network of Young People Living with HIV as the United Movement Project Officer. And United Movement is one of the biggest, if I may toot my horn, movement of young people in East and Southern Africa region. And we are hoping that we will come to Western Central Africa very soon and to the rest of Africa, because we are showcasing how youth leadership is indeed impactful and what it means when you allow young people to lead and they actually champion their own HIV and SRHR programs and initiatives. I'm going to allow a team that I've put together to come and showcase something that most of us have heard about this word for a long time. And I know most of the adults, some of them are guilty of not liking this word because we are always pushing it into their faces. Meaningful youth engagement. Despite the growing needs or information or anything whatsoever that has gone into the work in HIV and SRHR, and some organizations like UNFPA coming up with the meaningful and ethical engagement pillars for adolescents and young people. We still have governments, organizations, stakeholders who are actually lagging behind in meaningfully and ethically engaging people. And some of them are just doing it for tokenistic purposes. Some of them are just doing it for the sake of ticking the box so that we can say that, well, we did engage the young people. And maybe also just to blast ICASA, we would have appreciated if this youth conference was given that kind of respect for the youth pre-conference to start very much earlier. And you don't have young people queuing outside waiting to be coming inside. And I told that you can't go inside without the badge and because it's a space for young people, right? And we need to own the space in as much as we are requesting for that particular space to be given to us. If the colleagues will come up so that they can serenade us. We are moving away from presentations a bit. We're giving you something cutesy and demure, and we hope you enjoy it, and we hope that you learn something from it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Faith. Can I have a volunteer run up front with another chair? Thank you, gentlemen. It's not easy being a gentleman, huh? Let's give them a round of applause. All right. The stage is set, the players are ready, and the clock is ticking. And national program's success hangs in the balance. And today we are gathered here as they try to raise the challenge to ensure that young people are involved in decision making. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Okay, good morning, good afternoon, colleagues. I'm Niringimana Benjamin, Program Manager, and I acknowledge religious leaders, traditional leaders, community representatives, youth representatives, marginalized, and those with disabilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to this meeting. So, and I thank you for your interest in SRH and HIV prevention programs. So we are here to discuss about SRH and also HIV prevention, mainly in youth. We have quite often faced resistance from youth, marginalized people, those with disabilities. They feel like we do not consult them in coming up with these interventions. So we need to see how to consult them. So before we start, we have an agenda, and we have opening prayer, we have introductions, and then we shall discuss and see how to bring up youth in coming up with interventions. Once again, I'm Benjamin Niringimana and Program Manager.
Okay, let us pray. We thank you, God, for this beautiful session that we're about to have. May we learn, may we connect, and may we be able to take home whatever it is that we're meant to take home. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Thank you so much. Amen. So let's introduce ourselves and then.
Okay, thank you. My name is Chido Debra Mawire, famously known as Debbie, and I am the voice of the youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Mrs. Somabu, and I'm a community leader.
All right, thank you very much. My name is David, and I am a youth tech advocate.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Godfrey. I wear so many hats in this meeting. I'm wearing 15 hats. It is very important that as young people, you listen to people who are learned and experienced, such as myself.
So thank you so much, colleagues, for coming to attend this meeting, and I'm sure that we are going to have a fruitful discussion, and we see how we can involve youth in coming up with intervention to have good program of HIV and SRH. So we are here to address issues that are affecting youth. Like I said, we need to see how do we bring youth on board so that we have clear interventionists. We also need to see how do we bring in marginalized, how do we get their issues affecting them. We need to also bring up disabled people, those with disabilities. They have their special programs that may need our attention. So also we are living in a digital era. So we need to come up with digital technologies in advocacy for SRH and also HIV prevention. So youth must be involved at all costs so that
Excuse me, you've been saying involve the youth, involve the youth. What are you trying to say? No, are you trying to tell us, we the elders, we the community leaders, that our experience is not enough? Are you trying to tell us that we are not doing our jobs, we are not doing it well? Are you trying to tell us that these policies are not inclusive enough? Or are you trying to tell us that these policies are not driving the changes that they are meant to drive? No, sorry, let me on this.
What are you trying to say, my friend? Since 1975, we have had systems that work. You do not add salt to a pot of stew when the salt is enough. Are you trying to replace us? Are you trying to say digital skills are more important than our experience? These are things we have seen. Your friends have, my friend.
With all due respect, sir, I am a digital advocate, and it has proven over the years that digital world has helped in innovations. Yes or no?
My friend, what are you
and
trying
we
to
are
say?
living in the global age. We are living in the digital age.
Can we have order? Can we have order, colleagues?
To
Let's
survive
order,
and to
colleagues.
run
Let's
offices. We need digital
order, colleagues.
skills. So
Order.
I stand to
What are
say
you
we
trying
are
to say?
digital world
Order,
and
please.
digital as
Can we
health
have a meaningful
innovations.
discussion? So let me ask the youth representative, what do you have to say about this?
This meeting is heated. I'm just sitting here wondering what I'm going to say to calm my elders down. But I think we can all acknowledge the fact that we are not disputing that since 1975, you guys have been working to make sure that we have a better future. We're not disputing the importance of the elderly. If anything, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for the efforts that you paved for us. But now we're saying, allow us to join the conversation because the problems are affecting us. You cannot have a conversation about me without me. I need to tell you what's affecting me. So the starting point is making sure that the table is big enough to accommodate you with experience from what's happened in the past and us with the knowledge of what's happening now and going forward. So we are not disputing your involvement. We are just saying we are no longer stakeholders on the sidelines. We need to be involved in the planning processes of the designs and implementations level.
My dear.
Yes,
You are talking.
to make sure that your experience that you come with, my dear, you are going to tell me back then we handled it like this. The problem has evolved. In as much as fashion is evolving, so are the problems that we are facing. And we need to address them using technological methods, using AI, using TikTok, Instagram, X, you name it, we infuse it to make sure that it's no longer you guys just having a conversation about us, but with us. So youth involvement doesn't mean we disregard our elders. It means you are involving us.
Yeah.
That is where we stand as the young people.
And we can all agree that we survived during COVID-19 due to digital world. Yes or no?
Thank you so much, colleagues. I think it's now time to involve youth. We need to listen to all voices in our communities. Once we do that, we shall have good interventions. So youth have to come on board for us to come up with clear interventions. In that way, we shall get good results. We just did this in Uganda, and when we involved youth, we saw HIV indicators getting better and better. I'm sure that we can do this in Ghana. Thank you.
You can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so as we conclude, you woke up today. You've already fought your first battle, is it? The next battle that you have in your life is you have to make choices, and these choices have to be informed choices. It's either as young people we sit and wait for life to happen, or we stand up and make life happen. We need to speak for ourselves. We need to sit at the tables where decisions are made. Any program, any policy that affects young people should have the input of young people in it. If not, young people should be at the forefront of their advocacy. They should be at the forefront of any decision that affects them or any decision that has anything to do with them. That is why we are talking about meaningful youth involvement. You've got dreams as young people. Let's chase them. You've got goals. Let's make sure that we rally behind each other as if those goals owe us something. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, a big pam-pam to this role play.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Another round of applause to the team. In the interest of time, I'm just going to ask you to, during your spare time, you can scan the QR codes there to get the resource materials that you've developed, anything to do with meaningful youth engagement. We've developed WeMeta value as guidelines as Y Plus Global, a blueprint that we use to capacitate organizations on how to meaningfully and ethically engage young people in their program designs, implementation, evaluation, and monitoring. And remember that meaningful youth engagement isn't symbolic, it has to be intentional, and it has to really be meaningful. Don't do it just for the sake of ticking the box, just because your donor said you need to have consulted young people and you put young people in the room, but when now your report goes to your donor, it has omitted the voices that they had raised in that particular consultation. We have the Youth Next Level that we developed as Y Plus Global in collaboration with UNAIDS as well, a guideline to youth-led networks on how to strengthen their programming and their initiatives, and also just how other technical partners can support them meaningfully, and many other resource materials. If you scan that QR code, you will find everything in our link tree. Thank you so much. I will entertain any questions if there are any. I'll be around the conference from today until the 8th. If you see me, grab me, ask me whatever you want to ask me, and I hope it's nothing hard. Thank you.
You can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. All right, due to the interest of our time, we're going to go into our next session. Allow me at this point to invite from the youth sector, Civil Society Forum, Mpo Nathan. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. A big round of applause for the beautiful lady. You know, it's not easy coming up here, so keep clapping. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, let me just go back to South Africa. They don't want to greet me. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much. Let me take this time to greet the presidents in their absentia. Let me greet the delegates of young people, but let me also acknowledge the people that are not young, but they are here to support us. As young people, we honor them and we appreciate them so much. The organizers of ICASA, the UNFPA office, let me also appreciate you because some of us all the way from South Africa, you made sure that it's possible for us to be here today. Thank you so much. So the title of my study, so I'm gonna be here just for 5 minutes. So these are the great news. It's titled Unpacking the Feasibility of Continuous HIV Testing and STI among Sexually Active Adolescents and Young People as an International Strategy. So I came back all the way from home to bring a strategy here that is also international. Continuous HIV testing is a cornerstone of HIV prevention, ensuring early diagnosis, timely linkage to care, and effective use of biomedical services. My presentation is not on the screen because I told them that don't put my presentation. Because I'm a very shy person, I regret it because people are no longer will be focusing there. They will be actually seeing me there. So it was a wrong move. But however, we are young people, we continue. All right, so despite global recommendations, sexually active adolescents and young people have suboptimal HIV and STI testing rates. This is due to structural, behavioral, and psychosocial barriers. So today, I want us to go back. When you enter into a facility and you want HIV prevention methods like your condoms, your contraceptives, are you not feeling a bit shy about it? Are you not feeling a bit not so cool about it? Why? That's because it's no longer, young people are still stigmatized. When you start asking questions about sexual issues, we already conclude that this one, she wants a baby. This one doesn't want to focus on education. And I'm restructuring my presentation today to acknowledge and to accommodate young people in their uniform today. So young people, you must continue to go to the facilities, grab those contraceptives, grab those biomedical methods, your PrEP and everything. So this study was conducted in South Africa. If I can tell you a little bit story about it, this is what happened. So we are conducting a national study of something else for NAPWA and SANAC. I don't know if I should explain the abbreviation because these are just big organizations back home. So after that, when we entered into the facilities, young people were just moving around the facility. Some, they couldn't even want to be inside. And this is how the study came about. And then we got about 150 something young people to talk to and also to offer them, to ask them if they want to be offered testing rates, testing services or whatever that they came here to do. Can you believe that they didn't even want to access these things? But funny enough, they're already in their facility. So this study is right in the community, in the peri-urban and urban areas, including the rural areas of Northwest in South Africa. A cross-sectional analysis should be conducted, or rather was conducted, using youth risk behavior survey data, assessing HIV and STI testing prevalences among sexually active adolescents. The key demographics variables included sex, age, race, ethnicity, sexual identity, while behavioral factors were also examined. Things like your substance use during sex, your substance use during the time where you'll be going to be tested. All these crazy things, they were identified during the study. Multivariable logistics regression models stratified by sex adjusted for potential confounders. Okay, let's just go on. Gender gaps persist in HIV and STI testing uptake. Behavioral risk factors, stigma and accessibility challenges hinder routine testing. Is there anybody here amongst you young people that have ever felt that the system has not yet given us the services that we want? Is there any of you who feel that they are not really tailored in a way that they are friendly to young people? Is there any of you who still believe that, yes, the services are there, yes, everything is there. We've got youth champions, we've got every other activities and services for young people, but yet young people still are taking on with the numbers of new infections? Then what is the problem? What is the issue? What is it that the government, what is it that the partners of the government, what is it that us, the peer-led advocates for youth services, that we are not doing? Right now in South Africa, there is a national activity going on. It's called the 1.1 million Close the Gap campaign. So 1.1 million in South Africa are positive and they haven't returned to treatment. And amongst them is young people. So we may agree that we've got issues around these things. We are not denying that there are biomedical services. We are not denying that there are condoms everywhere, there are testing kits everywhere, but the question remains, why is it that the young people still continue in the rising number of infections? Why are they not going to treatment or adherence? What is the problem? So the problem is that they are there, but they do not meet our needs. There is a statement said by Dr. Ntombifiki Lemchali of Shout It Now. She said, meet young people where they are. When you decide to offer these services, let us tell you how we think these things should be given to us. If you want to bring your tents and your testing kits there, the best result you could get is by actually asking, how do you want these services to be given to you as a young person? How should we give these things to you? Because technology has evolved. Somebody mentioned here during the play, she said that if fashion changes, what about the problems? The same problems that we have many years ago, we cannot solve them in a way that we solved them many years ago. We need to have some strategies that will definitely fit the young people, or rather tailored for the young people. Digital health solutions, peer-led outreach, and community-based intervention can address these barriers. I also heard, you know what I like about this whole conversation is because we are actually saying one thing in different terms. So we might as well close this session and go back home, because we are one informed generation. They call us AMA 2000. I don't know what do they call the generations of 2000 here in Ghana, but back home they call us 2000 because they say we are the rebellious generation. We tell it as it is. Yeah. So digital approach is one of the solutions, or rather one of the strategies that we might want the policy to work on. We've got your AI, we've got your chatbot for confidentiality issues. We've got your, I don't know if you also use them here, but they've got the likes of Self-Carve, Chomi, and others. They were designed to help us as young people to communicate whatever that we need to communicate regarding health issues, but mostly upon HIV and issues of STIs. Youth-friendly services routine, school-based screenings, and digital innovation should be integrated into international strategies to improve testing uptake. All right, so lastly, the project scalability. We want this project to be scaled to international level since it has now reached the provincial level where we are coming from. So I'm glad that we are now here and we want the strategies to be implemented even here. So scaling to international level requires policy amendment, strengthen health system, financial investment, and workforce capacity building to ensure sustainable, equitable access to continuous HIV testing services. And guess what? Say what? I'm about to finish. Guess what? I'm done speaking, man. You can't, don't allow them to speak for 5 hours. Yeah, it's hot here. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right, let's give her another round of applause, please. I know it's hot, but yo, guys, it takes a lot to be up on this stage. And everyone is just looking at you, paying attention to what you say. If you say the wrong thing, you just keep going because you're in front of people. Yeah, so let's give her another powerful round of applause. There we go, wonderful. So as you can see, this is a different face that's on stage. I'm the one who's managing the MCs, so I've allowed for them to rest for a bit. And I take over for just a few minutes, Nyana. So going forward, because we are running with our program, we're sprinting with it, as you can see, we're gonna allocate you about 5 minutes to give your presentation. I apologize because we started a bit late, but nonetheless, we still wanna make sure that everything that we had planned to do, we do. So coming up next with a session titled Sex, Reimagined by FAC Health Foundation. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. Please welcome Bongiwe Ndlovu. Clap your hands. Yes. You never know. I might give you something for clapping hands, yeah? I'm generous. Mina.
So much. Thank you, guys. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm worried how quiet you guys are on the side. Are you okay? I've never heard your voice. Can I hear your voice? Are you guys okay? Are they beating you? Are they pinching you somewhere down there? We can't see. Are you getting the slides that are being mentioned right now? You're understanding? Okay. So my name is Bongiwe Ndlovu. I am from FAQ Health Foundation. I have slides. Please, can you show the slides, even though I can show, I think, 3 because I have 5 minutes. So we are here to have a session called Sex Ed, which is Sex Education Reimagined. As we are talking about imagining and reimagining, can you please quickly move on to the next slide? Thank you. What we are seeing with sex education is that it is the same life orientation, textbook, peer education, the shape of the genitalia, but it's not what we are experiencing in real life. Am I correct? Have you noticed how the textbooks don't speak to what's currently happening with regards to sex education in your life, right? Oh, nearly fell. Okay, so one of the things that we are seeing is that sex education is still a challenge, especially among parents, amongst young people, and amongst service providers. In fact, there's a joke in my country that the parents are saying that the teachers should be doing it, the teachers are saying the parents should be doing it, and young people end up in the internet because where else are we going to get the answers? Can you please move to the next slide? Thank you. So launch us here. We're FAQU, which means frequently asked questions by youth on sex and love. Why do we talk about love? Because relationships are part of the problems where we experience all the infections, all the teenage pregnancies, and all the other STIs that we as healthcare workers work on. What we did as FAQ Health is that we started off traditionally holding workshops, talking to young people, having peer education programs. But we saw that that is not enough, especially if you're a young person who's dealing every day with issues that are either challenging you. So what we have done so far is to reimagine what sex education looks like to suit all of these young people right now. And at the same time, we're trying to build resources online, just as the question I had asked about AI, to say, how then can I, as a healthcare worker or a healthcare provider, or even a teacher who's currently working with life orientation with young people, get access to content that is, one, youth-friendly, two, spoken in a language that young people understand, but three, most importantly, assists young people to make better health decisions. Because that is the trick. My colleague asked, why is it that young people are still not accessing information or even interventions? And where the gap is as FAQ Health is that it is health literacy. When we talk about health literacy, we know as human beings that we are constantly making conversations and decisions every day about health literacy. Thank you. We are constantly making decisions about health every single day, whether you're young or old. But health literacy, if you are health literate, you are then able to make better health decisions and even be able to put yourself in better situations. So then the question is, how do you get yourself health literate? Okay, I was checking if it's working. How do we get ourselves if we are health literate? It's easy for us as healthcare workers because it's automated. There's doctors in the house, there's academia, there's people who are working with health every day. And sometimes we even ask ourselves, guys, why don't you just test? The test is here, it's outside, we're here, but you're still not testing. And that shows that there is a disconnect between even interventions. Because let me tell you, we have worked very hard to make these interventions happen, whether it's PrEP, PEP, ARVs, STI testing. As healthcare workers, we've worked very hard to have those interventions because in the 90s, we know what this disease was doing to people. Right now, we find ourselves in a situation where the interventions are there, but young people are still on this side saying that they're not engaging. What does this mean? What does this tell us as the people who are developing interventions? Now, since my time has been cut short, where is he? Let me look at him finally. Now, since my time has come short, I was going to explain how we as FAQ Health have been able to bridge the gap. Let me show you an example. These are our online platforms. We're at faqu.africa. We are on Instagram, we are on TikTok, we are on YouTube. Why did we move from being at the workshop to being on social media platforms? One, we know about sustainability, right? To run workshop, to travel, to do catering, to do printing material, versus taking advantage of digital spaces, where one video, right now I just checked, these are old numbers, our Instagram account just clocked over 1 million reach in just this month. How many workshops would we have needed to host to reach so many young people with one video? So what we do as FAQ Health for you guys, this one is for you. When you are afraid to ask people, when you're at home, when you are going through things that you know the people will judge you, this platform becomes your safe place. Our DMs are private, and we can give you relevant information as and when it's happening to help you make better health decisions. But we don't stop there. We also refer to local service providers. So if you are a local service provider across Africa, because we get DMs from as far as Ghana, Nigeria, Southern Africa, everywhere. If you're a service provider who would like to partner with us and get access to the referrals, please come find us as we will be attending the whole conference for 8 days. As I close, our TikTok account, no, let's start with our TikTok. My colleague said, yes, we need to do TikTok challenges. Yes, you need to do TikTok challenges. If young people want TikTok challenges, then we need to do them. Even this conference, right now, the reason why I'm talking to them the most, I saw how high level we speak. Yes, it's great, we understand each other as peers, but if it's landing there, I doubt. Will they go home and say, hey, today I saw a slide about, I doubt. because it's not something that's speaking to them. So if we are serious about getting young people to get into interventions, we need to start making health a culture. We need to make health culture, health seeking, making healthy decisions a culture. And lastly, we need to compete with popular culture. Fashion is doing it, music is doing it. Why can't we do it as health? You know, in my country, there's a new drug that's coming called lenacapavir that's gonna be rolled out soon. We are so excited about it because that means that we only now need 2 injections of PrEP and you're covered. But we are so afraid of how it will be because we want to be at the forefront in terms of how do we make it youth friendly. So these are just examples of some of the campaigns that we do, whether we do contraceptions, whether we do breast care examples and how we engage with young people. And these are just some of them. If you go online and follow us, you can see even more campaigns that we do. Unfortunately, my time has run out. I've had a lot to engage with in terms of how do we make it youth friendly, because I think that's our most important USP. But as I close, I would like to engage you, and this is some of the live interventions that we do that shows young people engaging on various conversations. And as we close, I just want to close off with what our vision is, where we call Gen Z, Gen Zero. Why do we call them that? Because we imagine a world where young people have full control over their health, and where they no longer die from preventable diseases, where prevention and screening is a natural routine for them. So for young people, make sure you follow us, and if your peers or you or even your siblings are going through any crisis, this should be the first point. For service providers, please engage with us. I'm going to be having as many meetings as possible because this digital community and reimagining sex education is all our responsibility. Thank you very much.
All right, as Dynamite was saying, we can do better than that. We can do better than that. Thank you so much. So, like one of my colleagues said, because I believe every young person in this room is my colleague. Back at home, we're called AMA 2K, AMA 2000s, and the Gen Z is known for opening large. In my country, we call it Kuvuraombe. We're known for doing the most notorious things you can think of as young people. But I think this room is redefining what we're known for. So if you're in this room, doesn't matter if you are young at age or young at heart. At heart, you know the ones I'm talking about. Yeah, because the age thing is a problem. So everyone in here is a young person. Please give yourself the loudest round of applause at this very moment. Loud. Be proud of the fact that you are changing it. Thank you very much. So up next, we have a session from Godfrey Kambewa ICASA Foundation, who's going to be talking about what you are wearing, condom culture. Please give him a round of applause as he maximizes his 5 minutes. I'm going to be eyeing you. I apologize.
I think Ghana has the best behaved students. I was telling my friend, I said, if this was Malawi, the way this place would have been loud. If this was South Africa, you know how we do it. So Ghana, can you prove me wrong? Do we have young people in the building? Do we have young people? Or perhaps the teachers, you know, they chose the star performers, and star performers are usually quiet. They're not as loud as me. Real quickly, can I have 5 volunteers to the stage? Just 5, real quickly. Any 5, any 5, any 5. Any 5, and please give them a microphone. So my name is Godfrey Kambewa. I am from Malawi. I run an organization called ICASA Foundation. We're the ones in purple, and I'm branding myself today. Please get one of these, turn them around, don't show them yet. So I have a question. Why do we wear socks with shoes? Why is it that every time we wear shoes and they are closed, we have to wear socks? Anyone? You are just wearing socks, you don't know why you're supposed to wear it. Socks? Why do we wear socks? Anyone? Any takers? We are taking time because people are too quiet. Why do we wear the socks? So that the shoes don't stink, right? Why do we wear roll-on? So that, we also don't sweat too much, not so. Why is it that every time it's cold, you wear a jacket? To keep yourself warm. Then why is it that every time you have sex, you don't wear anything? So our intervention is called What Are You Wearing Tonight? Condom Couture. And so pretty much just to give you a breakdown of what we do is we produce a high-end fashion show of clothing made out of condoms, and we take a tour. So we did a tour in 5 universities in Malawi, reaching roughly around 12,000 young people. There was a situation back in the day when I was in university where students in the universities of Malawi were highest in terms of the new HIV infections. A couple of years ago, 1 or 2, we actually had a situation which we called the Blantyre situation, and the strategy was specifically developed for this city of Blantyre because we had noticed that the HIV situation was getting out of hand. Why Blantyre specifically? Because Blantyre has a lot of colleges in a short proximity. And because of that, there's a lot of hostels. Some are staying in government hostels, some are in private hostels. And so we noticed there was a lot of things going on. You would expect that, somebody in university would know everything, right? Not so. We believe the older you go, the wiser you become, you make better choices, not so? And then we were shocked that the group 18 to 29 is one of the groups that has the highest newest HIV infections in our country. Amongst those that are studying law, medicine, engineering, I don't know if it's the same case in Ghana because those are like, there's courses for the smart ones, and then there's courses for the average brains, and then there's courses for the rest of us. I did arts humanities, I majored in drama, my minor is in psychology. So there's those of us that just made it in college because they needed to fill in the 3,000 slots, and I was applicant number 2,999. There was one spot left, and they said, this one should come to drama. So there's people like me. So you'd expect that, in these places, you would find people that are informed and that make informed choices. But that was not the case. Why? Number one, because condoms have been vilified in our culture. When we first started condoming programming in Malawi, there was an advert, and the advert said in vernacular, wagweta. So gugweta means you've dropped something. And so that's how the campaign started, is you've dropped something and it's embarrassing because you've dropped it. No wonder in an African setting, when you drop a condom, people gasp. People are, how have you dropped the condom? But are people shocked when you drop your handbag? Are they shocked when you drop your glasses? So exactly what we're trying to do is to demystify condoms. Number two, we had noticed that there was a lot of infections around young people, meaning young people were unable to negotiate for safer sex practices and condom use, especially young women. So how many young women are here? Young women? How many of us took the outfit of the day selfie or video today? You know how we do. How many of us made sure, that your hair was okay, your nails were okay, your shoes were okay? So what we're trying to say, the same way you take care of what you're wearing is the same way you should take care of your sexual health and your body. Can you please turn around? So what you have here, if you can stand in front, what you have here are some of the pieces that are, crafted using condoms. We wanted to shock people to say condoms are not embarrassing. The same way you're wearing a golf shirt today, you can wear a condom. Am I lying? The same way you're wearing glasses, you can wear what? A condom. The same way you decided that every time you're going to wear socks with your shoes is the same way you can also decide as a young person that every time you have sex, you have protected sex. So the format of the event is we will start with a fashion show of these amazing gowns and clothes and all of those things, would have some dance performances, and then would close like this. What are you wearing today? Not the jacket, not the heels, not the jeans that are tight. I mean the real outfit, which should be your highlight. The drip that protects your life when love meets you at midnight. See, we post outfits online like a runway parade, fit of the day check, nails check, Tandy has laid. But nobody posts the drip that can't fade. The kind you won't iron, but it will keep you made. So what are you wearing tonight? Because vibes get loud, hormones ignite, and one wrong let's go can switch your whole life. So let me ask again, are you wearing it right? Socks, check. Shoes, check. Confidence, check. Condom, wait, hold up. You dress to impress, but protection, that's the realest finesse. Baby, your health is the campaign. If clothes can cover your body, condoms should definitely cover your story. And trust me, self-love has its own glory. Imagine this generation dripping in sense, where pleasure and protection both coexist, where we normalize, wait, let me put this on first. Like how you check your hair, your lips, your thirst. See, a condom is fashion. Call it smart sex. It's I value myself and I value you for sure. It's the one accessory you should never ignore because HIV doesn't care if your outfit costs more. Wear sneakers, wear heels, wear shorts or glitter, but wear protection, your future won't get better. Condoms don't judge your style or your size. They just keep you living to see the next sunrise. And please, don't let I trust them be your excuse. Trust is cute, but condoms reduce risk, not truth. Love can be blind, but latex has 100% vision. Put it on with pride, that's a smart decision. So today, tonight, dress well, dress loud, dress right, dress safe. Even angels like protection when they fly at night. So next time someone whispers, babe, what are you wearing tonight? Smile, flip your wrist in a fashionista spotlight and say, I'm wearing that drip, that smart drip, that life drip, that protect my future, my vibe drip, because the fit isn't complete till the condom is on. Everything else, just clothes. Thank you.
You can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful. I think we have to move with the mantra, everything smart. Smart sex, smartphone. What else is smart? What else is smart? Smart TV. What else? Ah, come on, guys. All right, I'm running with our program. It's good to be here, is it? Yes, so remember 5 minutes because we are behind time. So we're going to move quickly and as fast as we can. So allow me to call for our next session, that is session number 4. We resist and stay resilient, rising against anti-rights and anti-gender pushbacks in the fight against HIV. Prince Frimpong from Youth Initiative Foundation. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Till is on the stage. Oh, you can do better than that.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. You are welcome to Ghana. Actually, my name is Anesty Jibenu, and I am the Programs Officer for Welfare and SRHR at Youth Initiative Foundation. I am honored to be part of this moment, a room full of young people who refuse to back in silence world rights, and our health, our future are placed under threat. To speak on the topic, we resist and stay resilient, rising against anti-rights and anti-gender pushbacks in the fight against HIV. Today's Youth Spring Conference theme could not be more relevant: generation resilience, reimagined leadership, health, and justice.
For many of us, resilience is not a theoretical concept. It is our lived experience. It is the foundation on which we stand. It is the reason we are still here. It is the reason we are still fighting. It is the reason we are still advocating and still refusing to disappear. Over the last years, Ghana, like many other African countries, has been confronted with troubling sage anti-right and gender movements. We have seen attempts to pass and enforce laws that criminalize sexual and gender minorities. Organized efforts silence activities and activists and human rights defenders. We have seen increased hostility towards feminist movements, queer communities, and anyone advocating for bodily autonomy. And deliberate misinformation that is used to turn communities against our own people. This is in anti-gender ideology. It is not isolated. It is global. Trust me, it is strategic. It is funded and it is coordinated as well. And what is even more alarming is that these political efforts are happening at the same time that funding for HIV work is shrinking, including major cuts from institutions such as USAID and other global partners. So, as we are here, we are fighting two battles. Political pushbacks that criminalize and endanger our communities, and funding reductions that weakens our ability to respond. At the center of this overlapping crisis are young people, especially sexual and gender minorities, young people who use drugs, and young people living with HIV. Let me be clear, this is not just a political issue. It is deeply personal. This is about our lives, our health, and our right to exist. When anti-rights movements rise, real people are the ones who suffered. A young girl boy may choose to go for HIV, not to go for HIV testing because he fears being leaked or outed. A peer educator that is supposed to provide services to these people may hesitate to distribute condoms because they fear harassment. A trans woman seeking medical care gets denied because of stigma from very systems meant to serve her. A young person living with HIV decides to skip clinic appointment after hearing stories of discrimination. Outreach teams cancel their programs because the environment is too hostile and unsafe. These are not just mere stories. These are issues that are happening each and every day. And this fear is spreading like virus. Fear of stigma, judgment, violence, being criminalized for simply trying to protect your health. And when fear replaces trust, trust me, the HIV response collapses. Criminalization does not protect society. It destroys public health. Criminalization does not stop HIV. It rather fuels it. It drives communities underground. It breaks the link between health system and the people who need them most. It silences peer educators, disrupts communities' outreach, and creates an environment where people cannot access fundamental services. We cannot talk about ending HIV. We cannot talk about ending AIDS without talking about laws, policies, and ideologies that undermine our collective progress. Despite all of this, despite the pushbacks, the stigma, the funding cuts, the threats, trust me, we remain resilient. We are not silent. We are not giving up. We continue organizing, mobilizing, resisting, and reimagining what a truly inclusive HIV response looks like. Young people across Ghana and Africa region are leading the movement in ways that are creative, bold, and deeply rooted in community care. Across the region, community-based organizations continue to organize, sometimes with no funding, sometimes with with volunteer services, but they continue because community is the first line of resilience. We use movement buildings as tools, solidarity networks, informal safe spaces, peer-led outreaches, arts and storytellings, healing circles, and youth-led collectives that keep our communities alive and connected. In difficult moments, young people adapt. You will see us assessing discrete HIV self-testing distributions, community-based PrEP referral networks, harm reduction information shared through WhatsApp groups, mobile outreaches that quietly visit nightlife hubs, and peer educators who protect each other while reaching the most marginalized. When physical spaces became unsafe, we moved online. Platforms like eCare, Safe Hub, and others are helping young people access mental health support, HIV prevention and care information, legal guidance and referrals. Digital spaces has actually become resistance space for us. At Youth Initiative Foundation, we see resistance as creating alternatives where systems have failed us. One of our proudest achievements is our community mapping and resource allocation project, which gave birth to a platform we called RAMO. At the youth level, we call it a home built by us and for us. RAMO is not just a platform, it is a community tool, a digital safe space, a right-affirming pathway. And RAMO provides verified service points that young sexual and gender minorities can safely access. Offline access for rural and low connectivity areas, voice and visual accessibility features for every literacy level to be able to access, human rights violation reporting, allowing us to track and save and discriminating facilities. Trust me, we know it's not every health worker that will uphold the ethics that they were trained for. We know stigma still exists inside the health systems. So RAMO helps us to document these violations and help us to identify patterns and hold these institutions accountable with data, not just speculations. Beyond RAMO, Youth Initiative Foundation have HIV testing service through community outreaches, PrEP and ART referrals, treatment adherence support. We have PLHIV youth support groups, stakeholder engagement forums, and an emergency mobile outreach clinics where we reach out to our people at the comfort of their zones. Every outreach, every safe space, and every meeting, every workshop, these are acts of resistance. These are acts of survival. These are acts of love. When physical spaces become unsafe, we create digital spaces that protect, inform, and empower us. Sometimes resistance begins with simply having a safe space. And YF creates safe community spaces where young, gender diverse people share their stories, find healing, build confidence, and access peer support. From nightlife outreach to virtual peer support groups, from discrete condom distribution to targeted PrEP referrals, we use every strategy possibly to ensure that no young person is left behind. Let me say this clearly. Young people are not passive beneficiaries. We are the drivers of the HIV response. We are the innovators, the advocates, the mobilizers, and the storytellers, and the bridge builders. We are reimagining leadership. We are redefining justice. We are rewriting the narrative of who belongs in this fight. When systems shut us out, we create new ones. What they try to erase, we ourselves are more visible. When they underestimate us, we rise and even higher. Our resilience is not accidental, it is intentional. It is crafted through lived experiences, community solidarity, and deep understanding that if we don't fight us, no one will. Moving on, I continue with a call to action to the policymakers. They should protect the rights of all young people. Health cannot flourish where discrimination exists. To the global and local donors, do not turn your backs on youth-led organizations. Sustained funding is not charity, it is a necessity. It is the backbone of a functioning HIV response. To the CSOs and activists here, keep speaking up, keep organizing, and keep creating safe spaces. Your voices matter and your advocacy experiences matters as well. As we stand here at ICASA 2025, let us be reminded that this is not just another conference. This is a collective declaration. This is a collective declaration that we refuse to give up. We refuse to be silenced. We refuse to be erased. We refuse to step back. We will continue to rise again and again and again. We resist, we stay resilient, and no matter the pushbacks, we will rise. Thank you.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So in the same spirit of learning, I understand that it's a bit of a pressure when you're supposed to present for 20, 25, 30 minutes, but I'm kindly asking that we stick to 5 minutes. Is that okay? All right, so maybe just a quick room check. We've been having these sessions and I want to hear from 1 or 2 people. What has been your key takeaway from the sessions that we've heard so far? Can I please have the microphones circulating? Let me have 1 or 2 people that would want to share something. What has stood out for you? Do we have anyone that wants to say something? All right, can I have a microphone there?
Okay, I want to appreciate everyone I want to observe to present. And one thing that stood out for me is if we want to overcome global health challenge, we got to carry on more awareness because people are not aware like how they ought to be. We have to make it accessible and youth-friendly also. We have to ascribe to the young generations to be effective. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And one person was saying the youth pre-conference is not as interactive as we want it to be. And there you have the floor and you don't want to say something. What has stood out for you from the moment that we began this conference, from the sessions that we've had so far? What has stood out for you as a young person in this room? Someone that wants to share something before I close this floor? Right at the back.
Yeah, I also appreciate what happens here because I've learned a lot, especially the check. When your back fall down, everybody did not, they check it. But when condom fall down, people start to laugh at you. And the way we dress, the way we go out, we check our hairs and all that. So we have to check our health, how we put on condoms and our sex aspect. In fact, I like the way they demonstrate it and I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And as it says, condomize, don't compromise. Let me have one last person.
Okay, thank you so much. I think one key takeaway for me, and it has been a running theme throughout most of the presentations, is about communication. So with the session on how to tweet, how to go about policy briefs, some of us have attempted doing these things, but we aren't structuring it in the way that it will make impact. So learning about how to communicate that. And then with the FAOU presentation as well, even talking to young people, it has to be in the formats that they understand, in the way that they understand, so they can relate to it. So a running theme for me has been around communication. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that. All right, I have a young person in the room that wants to contribute something, so be generous, okay?
Good afternoon. So one thing I've observed from everything going on here is we've been looking at things from the policymakers' perspective. But what of we ourselves here? It depends on our mindset. No matter what policy they bring, no matter what laws they make, if you're not willing to change, if you're not willing to adapt, if you're not willing to learn, there's nothing that's going to work. So our mindset needs to be reset so that we can be transformed with whatever is going on. Thank you.
A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I love that. I love that. We should be willing to change. We should be ready to change. So ladies and gentlemen, allow me to call for our next session. Leroy Mkolele, I hope I'm pronouncing your names correctly, from the Southern Africa Sex Workers Alliance, to give us a presentation on meaningful involvement and engagement of young sex workers in Southern Africa. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You can do better than that.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I think before I even introduce myself, I want to really appreciate the statement that is coming from the young men, because it's actually a foundation to the session that we're about to have right now, a session that is actually celebrating inclusion, diversity, and wherever you are, faith high, because the session is actually influenced by some of the Y Plus Global and Ready Initiative session on meaningful involvement and engagement of young people. So my name is Leroy, and I'm from the Southern Africa Sex Workers Alliance. I'm the regional coordinator, also working for AIDS Funds, a donor in Netherlands, as the Southern Africa focal person. So without wasting much of our time, I think I'm one young person who is actually retiring to the older group. I will allow our young people to actually take over the space and give us a snapshot. DJ, some music as they come up front.
Father, be my just. Your father says, you know, give me my balance. You see, man, look at that big congo, baby, congo. You see, you know, feel up, man. I need to know what you feel. You're looking at me. I'm not thinking.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will rise on a protocol that has already been established. I am Unogwanda Kambushe. I currently chair the Young Advisory Committee, and the young people that are here today will be telling us a few things about how meaningfully are they involved in shaping the programs that affect us and also policies that affect us as young people. As we believe in nothing about us without us, they will be the ones who are telling us. So you will introduce yourself when you speak so that we save time.
But in 2 minutes, maybe Banele, can you tell us how meaningfully are you involved in the programming, but also just highlight a few things on how, if you have ever felt excluded from any youth programs, and also tell us how is the access to sexual and reproductive health for young people in your country.
Thank you so much, Nogwanda. Good day, everyone. My name is Banele Zwane. I come from the Kingdom of Eswatini. I serve as part of the Youth Advisory Board of SASWA, which is the Southern African Sex Workers Alliance. So I feel like when it comes to being excluded as a young person, a lot of the speakers have mentioned it here that as we live in our different societies, older people feel like they know what's best for us. So most of the time, decisions when they are made on our behalf because they always believe we don't have the capacity or potential of leading our lives. So I feel like as young people, to avoid being excluded, when you are given such opportunities in such spaces, make sure that what you speak will create trust so that the transition of the information from the people that are older than us and believe they can make better decisions on our behalf can flow also into us creating a space where we can speak and be trusted, heard, and recognized. So when it comes to sexual and reproductive health in Eswatini, I am a young activist on human rights with a focus on sexual reproductive health for key populations, not just only sex workers. There are efforts that have been made to improve the systems that we have in terms of accessing sexual and reproductive health, but still we are facing challenges based on the fact that most key populations are still criminalized and they face stigma and discrimination in healthcare facilities. So this is the major issue that we are facing, but we are also, as the young people, coming up with creative and innovative ideas to make sure that we create a better system, like capacitating healthcare workers, peer-to-peer education support for the snowballing effect and cascading of information of where we can access services. And we believe that if we take our own lead through these programs, then we will reach more minority groups, more key populations.
Thank you so much, Banele. And Paisley, can you maybe tell us how is the HIV prevention accessible for young people in your country? And also in 2 minutes, highlight if you feel your voice is heard in the youth initiative as well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Morning. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Presley. I'm from Zimbabwe, and I work with sex workers and their diversity, young sex workers. I'll say for your question in terms of healthcare services, delivery is there, but there are challenges, especially when you are talking about hidden groups like sex workers, especially factoring in LGBTI. You are facing quite a number of barriers. Young people, they are accessing services, but there is a certain component that is lacking from young people. And I want to challenge the House to say there is a loneliness pandemic amongst young people. The services that are there, they are not speaking to the needs of young people, especially their psychological wellness. A lot of young people, they are there in the space, they are responding to the initiatives that are there, but they don't have that agency to carry on with the work that has been done on their own. And we are also talking about the context of currently the stop work orders that have been issued. There is dwindling funding, drop-in centers are closing, outreach work is stopping, people are losing jobs. How are young people carrying on the torch So you find that when you do a lot of research within young people, there is no work that is going to carry on because young people have not self-mobilized themselves and they don't have that agency to do the work on their own outside of this funding that we have been depending on. Otherwise, I would say that the services are there, but the issue of stigma continues to persist, and a lot of stigma and discrimination programs should be continued. I don't know how we're going to do it in light of this funding that is dwindling, but we really need to continue to mobilize young people so that we address issues to do with self-stigma, self-actualization, having young people to know their purpose, to know who they are, and how they can fit into the broader work of HIV service delivery and access. And then shortly, in terms of my voice being heard, I think that's very difficult from an individual perspective to say I'm being heard, especially when you are representing marginalized groups in the context of our countries. That's very hard to qualify, but I would say that the work is being done. We are mobilizing young people. We are trying to get young people to come to these spaces from local level where they stay, to take up roles from whatever meeting is there, talk about young people, be there, represent yourself, represent your group, say out your issues so that you can be counted. So the work is being done collectively, that our voice becomes heard.
Thank you so much, Paisley, for highlighting such issues. Let's continue to let young people lead because they know what is best for young people. And then Michelle, maybe can you tell us briefly what would you like to see when it comes to young key population, maybe in taking up spaces, as we say, young people should lead. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Mpofu from Zimbabwe. I also sit in the Young People's Advisory Group under Southern Sex Workers Alliance, which is SASWA. So for your question, the changes that I would like to see from us as young people, we've been talking about that we want to be included in policy changing and everything. So I believe that this change should come from us. We should know our world, we should know the community, know where we should knock, know where our voices can be heard. So talking, for instance, maybe are saying that young people are facing violence and discrimination. It's also our responsibility as young people to do research, to identify people that are in power. You go there, knock in their doors, have these conversations with them. So I feel that the change that is supposed to be there is us standing up, so that the motto that says nothing for us without us stands undefeated. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Again, nothing about us without us. And then lastly, Joshua, can you tell us briefly what would make you feel more welcome in youth programming? I believe also Joshua will speak in Portuguese, and then we will translate after.
Thank you, Nokwanda. Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Mushanga. I represent Mozambique. Executive Director of an organization, Kubawa. Kubawa is the organization, is work of sex worker in Mozambique. I speak in Portuguese. Leroy translate for me. Em Moçambique, o movimento de trabalhadores de sexo tem vindo a crescer e achamos que poderíamos fazer com que o movimento cresça ainda mais com o envolvimento dos próprios trabalhadores de sexo, jovens. Neste momento, verificamos que vários trabalhadores de sexo ainda não se abrem devido ao estigma e discriminação, e sentimos que com o incremento dos financiamentos poderemos envolver ainda mais os jovens trabalhadores de sexo. E uma das coisas que eu vou partilhar, que é uma experiência que Moçambique tem vindo a realizar, é a própria questão dos próprios regulamentos. Nós, em coordenação com a plataforma de trabalhadores de sexo, temos feito alguns regulamentos, códigos de conduta, de modo que os próprios trabalhadores de sexo sintam-se num ambiente seguro e inclusivo. Porém, sentimos que isso não é o suficiente. Precisamos ainda envolver principalmente os trabalhadores de sexo jovens, do sexo masculino, e neste contexto realizamos um estudo do IBBS em Moçambique, que vai, de certa forma, nos trazer qual é a realidade dos jovens trabalhadores de sexo, do sexo masculino em Moçambique. Acreditamos que com estes dados vamos poder ter dados para que possamos advogar juntamente com os governos, juntamente com os nossos parceiros, de modo que possamos trazer um programa que envolva cada vez mais jovens trabalhadores de sexo masculino, e não só mulheres trabalhadoras de sexo. Muito obrigado.
Thank you so much. So in brief, in a minute, in Joshua's response is to see the growth of young key populations organization, and what is encouraging personally for Joshua is leading an organization as one of the young key population that is led by key population, where they have carried out advocacy actions, where then in coordination with different sex work platforms, we elaborated a code of conduct, and we are currently finalizing the regulations of sex workers in Mozambique. These documents that will give more security and involvement for young key population. And this is where we end our session because of time. Once again, nothing about young people without young people. And maybe can you say the slogan with me? Our voice,
Our future.
Our voice, our vision, our future. Thank you.
You can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for such an informative session. Moving in the same spirit, you guys are concentrating, and I love it. But the level of concentration that I saw when Joshua was speaking in Portuguese, it's as if you guys expected some miracle for you to understand what he was saying, but it's okay. So moving on with our program, I'm a bit biased about this one, all the way from Zimbabwe, which is my home country. Allow me to welcome Mishek Mlambo from Hope for Kids in Zimbabwe on a session which is titled Empowered to Live, advancing youth voices in inclusive health and climate justice. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Do we have Mishik in the room? He's not here. Do we have Mishik around? My bad. What should we use his 5 minutes for? What do you want to do? You want music? All right, I think after this next session, we're going to probably have a musical performance so that you guys can stretch a bit and we move. So allow me to move to the next session that we have. At this point, allow me to introduce Miriam Akinyi from Kenya Malaria Youth Corps with a session titled Unmuted Voices of Youth Debating and Performing Health Justice in Africa. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Another pom-pom as we welcome her to the stage.
You all look amazing from here. It's nice to see you. My name is Miriam Akinyi, all the way from the Pride of Africa, Kenya. We usually have an international greeting, and that is Jambo. But our local greeting is Mambo. So, majorly, the Kenya Malaria Youth Corps, we focus on malaria and neglected tropical diseases, the NTDs, and our main mandate is the advocacy and social behavior change, communication for social behavior change, and much of our work revolves around. And one of the key ways that we ensure social behavior change in our communities is through creative art. And we organize sessions like the Magnet Theaters in the communities. And it happens that I'm also one of the creatives. It would have been best if all the creatives would have been here so that they can do the performance. But since I'm the only one here, I'm going to do it. So maybe like when I was a little child, we would say, sit down, relax, and enjoy. I have a spoken word. In the cities, the Gen Zs, they cry out. They say, justice, justice, justice. In the depths of Busia, where I come from, somewhere in Kenya, my mama once told me in our language that wafisa maluare malroka mvula. This was just a polite reminder for me that maluare, aka diseases, they can suppress and take life. And when life lives, the living do always have a lips party. With their lips, they wail, they weep, and also they bring afloat the secrets of the one that is gone to be with the Lord. Where? Mama! That's how they always react when they hear that the one that was living has left the group of the living. And one of those people that I want to bring to our attention is Halai. Halai in our language, it means a beautiful person, a good one. When she was still with them, when living with them before she left the group, they all could elongate their lips when they see her. They'll be like, you get it? That's how they communicated. And behind her, they could share whispers that did not communicate love, that did not communicate inclusivity or justice. They all say, it is us for us. But when she was still around, she needed to experience us. And at that point, she could not get us because we had taken a social break and broke her peace out of ourselves. And so in isolation, she cried and regretted why she ever told them what she ain't. The walls have ears, and the wind carries the words. Those are the words of my grandma during her fairy tales. But the internet carries the day for the Gen Z. The traumas of Halai reached Abena in the West. They also traveled to the South and met Malomba. They traversed to the North and met Hadija. And when they all had this, fear befell the hearts of young people. The stigma that hit their nerves, that the ideas of life convulsed each night under the blankets. Silence was prolonged and proper care was delayed. Death is always promoted with these unspoken words. The cries of justice traverse across Africa. For the girl who whispers, I need help, only to be told that her age disqualifies her from owning her body, her choices, and her future. Justice for the boy who fears the clinic more than the sickness, because the stigma speaks loud than the diagnosis. I know your health status. Is knowing your health status a crime? No, it's a big no. Justice. In the land of the Big Five, AKA the pride of Africa, a few youths were given a table and they used their voices. With their voices, they declared, we are the generation that will end malaria. On their back, they move with the words. They chant them in every space they get. They act them at every single opportunity that they get. They create a supply chain of awareness, knowledge, and action. They have knocked doors, they have bounced on streets, inhaled the myths that bring stigmas from the streets, and they have breathed upon communities the right information. It all happens when the youths are given a table, they can be heard, and they are allowed to act the change they want freely. And then there is nothing without us can become a reality. Involve me. Yes, involve me. Involve me because I want to tell you how it affects me. Involve me because I want to tell the struggles of my peers so that we can get the first half of the problem solved. Involve me because I have solutions, but I need a platform. Involve me because I have knowledge, but I want to build it and build on my skills. Involve me because I am sexually active. But the big question is, are the Africa's health systems ready for the youth-led transformation? Thank you. That question was to lead us to our debate, which we will not do for the interest of time. We needed to highlight the successes and the gaps live here with you as the audience. Until next time, thank you.
Let's give her another round of applause as she sits down. So we are cruising nicely. 2 more to go and we'll be good, right? So at this moment, allow me to call upon Jean-Michael Jose for our 6th session. Let's give them a round of applause. All right, you can come to the stage. With only just a few minutes, we welcome you. A big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello, are you hear me? Do you hear me? Okay, I should speak French. Est-ce qu'il y a des francophones ici? Mais faites du bruit, on ne vous entend pas, vous êtes engloutis parmi les anglophones. Est-ce qu'il y a des francophones ici? Ok, je suis Michel José Douyaï. Je viens du pays qui est vainqueur de la dernière Coupe d'Afrique des Nations. Dans mon pays, la Côte d'Ivoire. Et je pense qu'en 2025, lors de la CAN au Maroc, on va prendre la coupe pour la ramener chez nous à la maison encore. Est-ce qu'il y a des Ivoiriens ici? Les Ivoiriens, faites du bruit, s'il vous plaît. André sont fatigués. OK. Donc, nous sommes à la conférence des jeunes. Et là, il nous a été demandé de présenter des activités innovantes, des mécanismes qui permettront à la jeunesse de pouvoir assumer son leadership. Donc, nous sommes venus avec une proposition aujourd'hui qui est celle du tableau de bord approach pour la responsabilisation des jeunes dans la riposte nationale au VIH. Donc, c'est un tableau de bord qui va permettre aux adolescents et jeunes de pouvoir prendre le leadership en ce qui concerne la riposte au VIH dans leurs différents pays. Does it work? Donc, comme j'ai dit, voilà, ça passe maintenant. I'll use this one. OK. Donc, le tableau de bord approach ou le approach scorecard en anglais, en version anglaise, est un tableau de bord qui permet aux jeunes d'être responsables, de pouvoir prendre leur destin en main Et donc là, au niveau de la Côte d'Ivoire, on a identifié un contexte démographique qui nous a permis de pouvoir mettre en œuvre cet outil d'évaluation. Donc déjà, comme vous le constatez, dans la plupart des pays de l'Afrique, la population est relativement très jeune. En Côte d'Ivoire, nous avons plus de 77% de la population qui a moins de 35 ans. Et également, on constate que dans cette population-là, il y a une forte prévalence au niveau des nouvelles infections. Donc, selon notre estimation des spectrums 2023, 2024 et 2025, on est au-delà de près de 40% des nouvelles infections qui sont dues au fait des adolescents jeunes de moins de 25 ans. Et dans ces 40%-là, nous avons 22% qui sont des jeunes filles âgées de moins de 25 ans. Ce qui veut dire que les jeunes filles, les adolescentes sont très exposées au VIH. Et là, on a une prévalence de 1,68%. Mais quand vous allez voir au niveau des nouvelles infections, les taux au niveau des adolescents et jeunes est tellement élevé qu'on ne se rendrait pas compte que la Côte d'Ivoire a une prévalence qui est très basse. Donc là, ce sont des éléments qui nous montrent que vraiment il faut avoir un regard sur la santé des jeunes, surtout le VIH. Et donc là, les autres défis des adolescents et jeunes, vous regardez par exemple la courbe ici, là, la pyramide qui est là, vous voyez ici en rose, ce sont les nouvelles infections chez les jeunes filles et là, les nouvelles infections chez les hommes. Vous voyez les tranches d'âge, quand on part de 15 à 19 ans, vous voyez les nouvelles infections, on a environ 638 filles et au niveau de 20-24 ans, on a au-delà de 800 nouvelles infections. Ce qui montre que les adolescents et jeunes sont les plus exposés aux maladies liées à la sexualité, telles que le VIH, SIDA par exemple. Donc, vous voyez, ces données-là nous poussent en tant qu'adolescents et jeunes, à pouvoir mettre en place des mécanismes qui nous permettent d'avoir accès à la santé et également d'avoir accès à tout ce qui est opportunité qui puisse permettre aux adolescents et jeunes de pouvoir contrôler leur sexualité. Voilà. L'autre opportunité, c'est que nous sommes dans un contexte où les fonds se font très rares. Et les fonds se font très rares. Il y a plusieurs partenaires au développement qui se sont retirés. Il y en a même qui ont réduit leur appui au développement. Et ça, c'est dans le monde entier que cela a été constaté. Et donc, le fait que les fonds se fassent rares, il est vraiment important pour les adolescents et jeunes qui font face à de nombreux défis de pouvoir trouver une stratégie pour pouvoir mobiliser les ressources. Et au niveau de la Côte d'Ivoire, heureusement, nous avons un pays où l'État, le gouvernement est très engagé en ce qui concerne la prise en charge de tout ce qui est financement adressé aux questions de santé. Et donc, on veut pour preuve la récente réunion du Fonds mondial où la Côte d'Ivoire a contribué à plus de 2,5 millions de dollars dans les fonds du Fonds mondial. Donc, il y a un engagement accru du gouvernement ivoirien en ce qui concerne la santé des jeunes. Donc là, pour nous jeunes, il est important de pouvoir avoir des éléments pour demander à l'État de pouvoir prendre en compte la santé des jeunes dans leur politique de façon efficace. Donc, il est important de pouvoir faire une évaluation à ce niveau-là. Il y a aussi le fait que dans nos États, il existe des cadres, il existe des engagements que nos États prennent. L'État prend des engagements, les pays prennent des engagements au niveau national et international pour notre santé. À quel niveau est-ce que ces engagements-là sont? Est-ce qu'il y a une mise en œuvre? Est-ce qu'il y a une application de tout ce qui a été dit? Donc là aussi, il faudrait qu'on puisse voir de près tous ces différents éléments-là. Donc là, le tableau de bord que nous allons présenter, le tableau de bord a pour, nous allons présenter ici l'historique, comment est-ce qu'il a été conçu et où est-ce que nous en sommes actuellement. Et là, ici, vous avez une chronologie des actions de mise en œuvre. Donc, le tableau de bord, vous devez le savoir, est une initiative de l'ONU-SIDA qui a aidé une coalition internationale qu'on appelle VPACT et qui l'a aidé à pouvoir élaborer ce tableau de bord-là. Et donc, depuis 2017, ce tableau de bord-là existe. Et donc, de 2017 à 2019, il y a eu 20 pays qui l'ont implémenté. Donc, nous, en Côte d'Ivoire, c'est en 2024 que nous avons connu l'initiative du tableau de bord et que nous avons fait notre première implémentation. Donc, en 2024, nous avons fait notre première implémentation en phase pilote dans 2 localités. Et cette année, en 2025, nous avons étendu le programme dans 11 localités. Voilà. Ici, l'objectif du tableau de bord, c'est quoi? C'est de permettre d'évaluer les progrès, d'identifier les difficultés et de pouvoir faire des propositions à l'État en ce qui concerne la mobilisation de ressources à travers des initiatives de plaidoyer. Donc là, ici, c'est de pouvoir réduire d'abord la stigmatisation et d'augmenter l'engagement des jeunes dans la réponse au VIH. On nous dit que les jeunes ne sont pas très responsables, ils ne prennent pas d'initiative, ils laissent tout faire. Et là, le tableau de bord est une opportunité pour les adolescents et jeunes de pouvoir coordonner une activité d'évaluation par eux-mêmes, dirigée par eux-mêmes, pour eux-mêmes, et qu'à la fin, cette initiative va pouvoir aboutir à des initiatives de plaidoyer à l'endroit des décideurs. Donc, c'est une initiative qui est innovante parce qu'elle permet aux adolescents et jeunes de pouvoir la coordonner pour eux-mêmes et pour leurs pairs. Donc, l'impact, c'est qu'à la fin de l'évaluation, à la fin du processus du tableau de bord, il y a des initiatives de plaidoyer qui sont mises en place et qui peuvent aboutir à la mise en place de politiques sanitaires spécifiques aux adolescents et jeunes. C'est quoi encore le tableau de bord Approach? Le tableau de bord Approach est un outil de suivi communautaire. Je l'ai dit quand je parlais tout à l'heure pour dire que c'est un outil qui est dirigé par les jeunes. Et cet outil-là permet de contrôler les engagements que l'État prend envers les jeunes. Donc, vous allez voir que, par exemple, dans vos différents pays, vos gouvernements prennent des engagements. Par exemple, ils disent chez nous, dans notre plan de santé, les adolescents et jeunes doivent avoir accès à la santé. Et très souvent, ils le disent, c'est écrit dans leurs différentes stratégies. Mais est-ce qu'il y a des documents, est-ce qu'il y a des lois qui suivent? Tout ça, il faudrait que vous puissiez l'évaluer. L'État aussi prend des engagements au niveau international pour dire, bon, au niveau de mon pays, la Côte d'Ivoire ou du Ghana, par exemple, quand je vais rentrer dans mon pays, voici les choses que je vais mettre en place en termes de protection des adolescents et jeunes. Et ces éléments-là sont notifiés, sont écrits. C'est des signatures qui existent. Donc, il s'agit pour vous, à travers le processus du tableau de bord, de pouvoir non seulement répertorier ces engagements, mais de les évaluer, d'évaluer les implémentations dans le pays. Donc, voici en quelque sorte l'une des choses que le tableau de bord permet de faire. Il y a aussi le fait que la méthodologie qui est utilisée par le tableau de bord est une méthodologie standardisée. Donc, c'est une méthodologie qui est utilisée, qui doit être utilisée par tous les pays qui veulent le mettre en œuvre. Donc, ça permettra, dans un premier temps, de pouvoir connaître les expériences, les résultats des différents pays en termes d'avancée de politique sanitaire et aussi de pouvoir faire une comparaison pas pour se moquer de ceux qui sont en arrière, mais de voir à quel niveau est-ce que certains pays sont par rapport aux nôtres pour faire des plaidoyers, pour que notre pays aussi puisse avoir les mêmes commodités, les mêmes lois, les mêmes avantages en termes de protection et de santé des adolescents jeunes. Il y a aussi le fait que le plaidoyer, l'outil A+Scorecard est un outil qui permet d'inclure non seulement les adolescents jeunes, mais qui inclut aussi l'ensemble des parties prenantes, savoir les systèmes des Nations Unies, les organisations locales, les décideurs au niveau central, et tout le monde est impliqué à travers cette méthodologie. Vous allez voir, on va montrer tout à l'heure les différentes étapes de mise en œuvre du tableau de bord. Et donc là, le tableau de bord permet d'évaluer 5 domaines spécifiques. Donc voici les 5 domaines que vous voyez là qui sont évalués à travers le tableau de bord. Le premier domaine, ce sont les lois. Est-ce que dans votre pays, il existe des lois qui protègent les jeunes? Vous allez faire une revue documentaire pour pouvoir voir si ces lois existent et il y a des fiches de notation qui sont données. Est-ce que dans votre pays, les adolescents et jeunes participent? Et si oui, est-ce qu'il y a des documents officiels dans lesquels il est martelé que les adolescents et jeunes doivent participer? Et ça permet d'évaluer également cet aspect en termes de participation. Est-ce que dans votre pays, il y a des opportunités qui existent en termes de partenariat pour les organisations de jeunesse et pour les jeunes? Ces partenariats-là, est-ce que c'est des partenariats formels? Est-ce qu'il y a des traces? Est-ce qu'il y a des lois qui indiquent que les associations ou les organisations doivent avoir des partenariats avec les ONG de jeunesse? Et ça aussi, vous allez l'évaluer à travers le tableau de bord Approach. Les bénéficiaires, est-ce que tous les adolescents et jeunes de votre pays ont accès à un certain nombre de principes liés à la santé? Est-ce que les jeunes vivant le VIH ont accès à la santé selon leurs spécificités? est-ce que les jeunes LGBT ont accès à la santé selon leurs spécificités? Est-ce que les jeunes en situation de handicap sont pris en compte dans les programmes sanitaires? Et c'est ce que vous évaluez aussi à travers ça, les bénéficiaires. Et enfin, les responsables. Ici, responsable, c'est d'évaluer la responsabilité qui est octroyée à la jeunesse. Est-ce qu'on vous invite pour remplir les chaises, pour remplir les salles, ou bien est-ce qu'on vous invite pour pouvoir contribuer à tous les niveaux? Ça aussi, c'est évalué à travers le tableau de bord Upput. Donc là, vous avez ici la liste des différents ODD qui sont pris en compte. ODD 3, 4, 5, 10 et 16 qui sont évalués également. Et là aussi, vous avez là les différents engagements que les États prennent qui doivent être évalués ici. Et donc, tout ça, ce sont des indicateurs qui vous permettent de pouvoir faire une bonne évaluation avec l'outil du tableau de bord. Et ici, les résultats que vous obtenez vont servir à quoi? Les résultats que vous obtenez vont servir à hiérarchiser la mobilisation des ressources au niveau de votre pays. Bon. OK, donc ici, les résultats vont permettre de hiérarchiser la mobilisation des ressources. Vous allez pouvoir utiliser aussi les données pour pouvoir faire des plaidoyers smart dans vos pays. Donc, vous avez ici plusieurs options que les résultats du tableau de bord vous donnent. Et donc là, voici les différentes étapes du tableau de bord. Il y en a 7. Voilà les 7 étapes. Et ces 7 étapes-là sont respectées d'un pays à un autre. C'est la même méthodologie qui doit être appliquée, que ce soit au Ghana, en Côte d'Ivoire, au Burkina. La même méthodologie-là va vous permettre de pouvoir avoir les résultats qu'il faut. Et à la fin, vous pouvez élaborer un plan de plaidoyer SMART sur la base des résultats que vous obtenez à travers votre évaluation et analyse. Enfin, voici vous avez là quelques images de comment se présente le tableau de bord. Ce sont des coupures, hein. Donc, vous avez là le tableau de bord qui est là avec des questions, des notations et autres. Et il y a plusieurs activités que vous pouvez développer autour du tableau de bord, telles que des émissions radio, des shootings et plein de choses que vous pouvez faire pour pouvoir intéresser les adolescents. Je vous remercie. Merci.
You can do better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. You can take your seat. All right. At this juncture, my apologies for the 5, the 10, and the short minutes that we're giving, but we'll definitely have side sessions where the presenters will present. At this moment, allow me to call Nadu Adigo for the closing remarks. A round of applause. Not in the room? All right. Can we have Chido Deborah Mawire for the closing remarks? A big round of applause.
So because we're working on a very tight schedule, I will not say much, but thank you for your time. Thank you for your presence. As Panashe mentioned, there'll be other side sessions where you get to learn more because it's still going until the 8th, you guys. So we are still around. So thank you. We are proud of you. And we're going to have a group photo that's going to happen outside, right where the banners are. So when you leave, make sure that you just stand around that area and you get further instructions on how we are to go about it. Again, thank you. God bless you.
For being such a beautiful audience, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of the ICASA Pre-Youth Conference. Please give yourselves a huge pam-pam. So we can safely walk out. DJ, please play some soft music as we go for our photo shoot.
Hello. So before we do that, all volunteers should see Mr. Gordon at the front here. It's very important and urgent. All volunteers in the room. And if you're outside and you can hear me, please do so. Meet Mr. Gordon right here in front to my right. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We can safely walk out and go for a group photo. Please do make sure that you smile for the photos. We're going to be having them on our social media platforms.
Hello?
You need to be pretty.
Dynamite, before we go, let's have at least 3 cheers and we'll do it in style. When we say youth, you say action. Is that fair?
Yeah.
So everyone, before we go, let's try this. Youth,
Action.
youth,
Action.
youth.
Action.
Beautiful.
It's been a pleasure. From myself, the Dynamite with the capital letter D, and my co-host, me, Aditi. It's goodbye for now.
Hello? So this is a special announcement as well. So we would want to encourage everyone to quickly move out of the hall because we need to use the hall for a special assignment right now. And so if we can just do that quickly, just go in front there so that we can take the group pictures as well. Yes. So please indulge me and let's move out quickly. Thank you very much, everyone, for your cooperation.
As you leave, my DJ. As you leave, please do make sure that you don't leave your valuables. I have a laptop with me here. If there's anyone that's missing a laptop, please come get your laptop. Do make sure that you walk out with everything that you came in with. Do not leave your valuables. Thank you.